Hi guys, today I'm just gonna teach you a little bit about money itself. Now you might tell me, well, I know what money is, but you'll see that money is a bit different than what you think, okay? Because there's a lot of things that happen to money, and today we're not, like, if you think a dollar, like if no matter where you're living, an euro or whatever, a dollar is not money. It's a currency, and we call it fiat currency, okay? What it means is the difference that between a currency and money itself is that a currency is not made to keep its purchasing power. It loses value over time. If you take money, though, money is made to keep its same power of purchasing no matter where in the time is going to happen. One principle, what is money? Gold is money. Why? Because 3,000 years ago, they were using gold to purchase things. And if you come back in today's society, you can still purchase things with this gold. Right? You might not go to the store, but you can go any places around your house, no matter where you are, sell your gold, and you're gonna get currency, which you can use to really make money, okay? So what, again, gold is money. Dollars is our currency, okay? And I'm just gonna give you a little bit of how money becomes suddenly currency. So I'm gonna start with the first ever money and currency created in one civilization. It all goes back to Athens in Greece. So what happened is they were one of the biggest first civilization, if not the biggest civilization in those time. But what happened is they were the first one to use gold coin, because before that they were using gold to trade, but they didn't have any set measurement for those gold. So sometimes you could very be in disadvantage or advantage because nothing was the same size. So now they use gold coins, which all had the same amount, and you would use that to purchase something, and something would cost one gold coin, something will cost 2, 3. You see the pictures, okay? So what they did is they did that, but at some point, Athens get in war with Sparta, and they started to lose a big part of their economy. So what they did is that they created currency to be able to pay for the deficit their economy was facing, and keep paying their warrior, paying the people that were creating the tools, food, and that keep their civilization, their village, their city intact, okay? So what they did is they took 1,000, let's say, I'm just giving you a picture, 1,000 gold coin. They put this in a big thing, they melt this. They had a big thing of gold. They added copper, and they created a mixture of gold and copper coins. Now if you had 1,000 gold coins, you could have 2,000 gold coins. But because they did this process so many times, at some point, you barely could even see the gold and it was mostly a very strange mixture of gold and copper. And at some point, you would start to need 2 copper coins to buy 1 piece of gold, 3, 4, 5 coins of mixture of gold and copper to actually buy a real gold coin. So that's what you call creating a currency, because you're creating something more and you keep printing. Right now today is made by printing, but before it was melting until your currency lose complete value, because people don't have trust in it. They don't want, because what happened is, let's say you start to realize that all the gold coin are just not, being used anymore, and everybody uses copper. Well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna save this gold coin. So people start to save it, and they only use copper, which is like, well, a mixture of copper and gold, which mean that gold just disappeared from Greece. It just disappeared. Either it was in somebody else's pocket or somebody else's village. So it was just not into the market anymore. So that's what happened. At some point, they just surrendered to Sparta because their economy collapses. So that's how you see how it can affect a country, or just whatever it is that's used money, and they changed and they went to currency, because every currency is designed to fail at some point. There is nothing, no currency in the history of humanity, of humans, that still that succeed. Now we have the American dollar, but if you go back 150 or 200 years ago, it wasn't existing, it was something else. And if you back and back and back, there's been thousands and thousands of currency for thousands and thousands of, if not millions, civilization that existed, and every single one of them failed, and at some point they collapsed. So if you think right now that maybe it's gonna happen, maybe by the way you die, the American dollar is still gonna be there, or the Canadian or whatever, but there is a lot of chance that it doesn't, or if it does, chances are your kids will never use the American dollar ever in his life. Okay, so now I'm just gonna give you a background on how the American, how just any kind of money became currency from country, and it's all based on the United States, because they're the one that put the stanza in front. So just to give you a little bit of background of back in the time, like there was in World War I and World War II, the United States were not involved in the war, okay? They went at the end of it just to clear this up and everything, but they were not majorly involved in the war. They were far away in America, and they wouldn't be impacted by the war. So what happened is all the European, they changed their economy and just the way their city were, all the factory that was producing clothes, food, cars, they all changed that to produce military clothes, military boot, food that you could bring into the war. So they all changed their society and economy towards war. But what happened is the people living in Europe still needed to eat, they still needed to buy a new car, they still needed to get some clothes. So the America created those factories, and they give all this money, all this product actually to Europe, and Europe give them all this money. Okay, so the America, that's where by the way, the America get the mentality of that war is good for economy. War is good for the economy if you're not in it, okay? So that's how they did it. And at some point, back in the time, by the way, they were still using gold. Now they were not using gold like gold coin, but what gold was, is that gold, in the time, money, it was still real money, it was no currency. So what they did is they took gold and they store it in a bank. Okay, because people couldn't have that much gold on them, they would get stolen, broke into their house. So they were giving their gold to the bank, and the bank will give them some receipt, IOU, it's called IOU, some receipt for their gold. Okay, so that's how, the paper that is on, like from what it got created, a dollar, it's been created as a receipt for $1 worth of gold in the bank. So if back in the time you could go into the bank, give your receipt. Before that, you could give your receipt, and the person in the bank, nobody did. Everybody got paid in currency, but that means that somebody hold that much money of gold in the bank. Okay, so but you could go at the bank, give the money, and say, "I want my gold," and they would give you your gold, but you will need somewhere to store it. So nobody did it because you would still go at the bank and put back this gold. So that's really how currency it is. Okay, so back in the time in America, that's how they did it from the World War I and World War II. And what happened is that they had 2/3 of the world gold, because all the country were paying them either by currency or IOU, the piece of paper saying we give you that gold. So the America got half in their bank. They had also, people need a safe place in Europe. They need a safe place to store their gold, and America was very safe at that time. So they stored their gold there, and America had 2/3 of the world gold in their bank. Okay, so that's how America became a superpower. What happened is American at some point, they committed a fraud, a real fraud, but nobody could say anything. There was superpower, and they were helping all the other country. So what they did is they created more, I don't know the reason why, all I know is what they did. They created more IOU, like piece of paper, than there was gold to cover in the bank. And they were actually buying stuff somewhere in the world because people trust into the currency of American dollar. They would buy stuff, giving them their IOU, their receipt for their gold into their bank. So they created that, give them away. And at some point, all the other countries started to realize, hey, we know what you're doing. You don't have that much gold in your bank to cover the much IOU you gave us, the much like piece of paper you gave us. So I think the first one, I'm not sure, but I think the first one was the president of France. He did this kind of, all I know is like it's very public what he did and everything, but he requested back his gold from the America. He said to America, hey, we know what you're doing. We don't want to play this game with you because at some point you're just selling bullshit. You know, the America could print a piece of paper and go buy something in another country with this fake piece of paper. So what they did is the Europe, they requested back their gold. Okay, so they took their gold back by giving them the IOU, and the America gave them their gold. But remember that the America didn't have enough gold to cover all the IOU, like the piece of paper, the money, like the currency, sorry, they created. So what happened is they didn't know what to do. They was like, well, if we keep doing this, at some point we're gonna have zero gold in the bank and people that want more gold. So what they did, because at first what they did is they created 25% more paper that there was a gold to back it. After that, they increased to 50%. They made 50%, and on I'm not sure of the date, but that's where the America changed. Well, back then too, but they changed really from money from total currency when they decided that all piece of paper will not be backed by anything. That's what we're in right now. All the money you see is not backed by anything. It's just a useless piece of paper, but you're confident that this will buy you something, because otherwise it will need to be something else. So now what's happening is the America at this point got the chance to print even more and more without any consequences except of our prices to inflate. Okay, so the price inflate, the currency is losing value, as you probably seen on other video. So that's very what's happening in our society, and that's why the right now all, and by the way, when they did that, all the world just follow, because all the world will also in debt, and they could benefit from this. If the America would do it, why wouldn't do it, right? So that means that all the piece of paper right now are all currency because they all follow the America. Everybody committed a big fraud, and now we're all in the currency and using worthless piece of paper that the government with the treasury are printing between each other just to cover their debt. So like, I know in this video I didn't give any techniques or anything special or anything, but I just really want to give you a very nice theory just so you understand really what money is. Because when you look at the piece of paper, you're gonna notice that when you look at like, wow, I thought that was really money, but basically what it is, it's just a piece of paper, a part like that is owned by the government where you are, and that give you the confidence that this is gonna buy something. But at any point, anybody could say, oh, I don't accept it. What do you mean don't accept it? Yeah, I want gold. You know what I mean? So like, it's probably not gonna happen, but at some point, if they keep printing the currency, they lose value, at some point something gonna happen. Like every currency in our history is gonna collapse. So that's a big reason why I don't want you guys to keep currency, and I just want you guys to have your right mind and not talking of money as currency, because money, like gold or silver, store a value over time, as currency is designed to lose value over the time. All right, so just keep that in mind. Try to think about that. Like think, well, oh, that's, like just do the realization, and it's just gonna help you in general to see the truth behind the lie that has been put up in their face. All right, so at the next video.